Miss Girl. If we were really being honest, the only reason why your life sucks is because you're addicted to people pleasing. No, seriously, you're actually addicted to people pleasing and you don't even realize it. Every single time you're like, oh, I'm such a people pleaser, I'm such a people pleaser. Now it's become part of you. It's your personality. In your 25 years of living, 30 years of living, even 50 years of living even, you're still making decisions about your own life basing on other people's opinions. Do you realize whenever you go outside of yourself to seek an opinion, you're essentially using someone else's limitations to dictate your own life? The only validation that you're truly seeking is from yourself. But you have been conditioned to seek that validation outside of yourself. You're trying to amass as much validation that is outside of yourself so that you can actually give yourself permission to believe that you're enough. You have been minimizing yourself for all these years, and that is why you are feeling stuck. That's why your life literally feels like it sucks. You're doing everything else apart from the very thing that you know in your core you should be doing. The version of yourself that you're showing the world looks nothing like what you truly are in the inside. When it's time for people to show up for you, same way you've been showing up for them, no one shows up. Every single time that you have done something that you know damn well you shouldn't be doing because who you are internally doesn't align with that decision, you're chipping away from who you are. You're taking away your own power. You're continually giving power to someone else. And that is why you're miserable. You've created a safe place for everyone else but yourself. Once the world quiets down and it's just you with yourself, you can't sit down with yourself because you haven't created a home that is conducive enough for you to stay there, for you to feel safe, for you to feel accepted. You are the main character in your life, and yet everyone else's opinion but your own matters in your own life. In a world where you can be anything, be fucking for real.
She just let me know, but it's sure no fear, didn't say from here.
I know I probably went a bit crazy on the intro, but I needed to say something that was actually gonna get to you. Really and truly, your life would be so much easier if you were just a bit rude to some people. Honestly, some people do deserve that rudeness. And the reason why I'm calling it rude is because in the society that we live in, if you have boundaries and you stand by them, she's doing too much, she's rude, why, who does she think she is? Yeah, you're gonna have to potentially become very unpopular to save yourself. I too was a people pleaser. I am a recovering people pleaser. So I'm not telling you these things because I have the answers and I'm just looking at you like, oh my god, just stop doing this. No, I'm telling you because I have gone through it. I have seen the damage it's done to me. And I'm here to tell you there is no reward for people pleasing. And actually, your people pleasing tendencies are rooted in your ego. It's nothing to do with you being a nice person. It's your ego's way of protecting you. Growing up, you were conditioned that your worth was dependent on other people's validation. Your parents never gave you attention unless you did something, unless you got the grades, unless you were a good girl, unless you looked disciplined and didn't embarrass them. You were shamed for your own personality. You were shamed for who you are. And now the things that were drilled to you as a child, the things that you were shamed for as a child, now you are a grown adult and you're shaming yourself for those very things. Those very things that were taken away from you as a child, you're taking them away from yourself now without the people around you. When you were younger, maybe it just took you being bullied to feel like you're not good enough, and now you bully yourself, you judge yourself. My journey with people pleasing it's been interesting to say the least. I never actually thought I was a people pleaser until I turned 21. I really understood the way my people pleasing tendencies manifested. I was brought up by my extended family. I didn't actually grow up with my mom. If you know anything about living in people's spaces, you will constantly be reminded that you're not part of that family. You will constantly be reminded you are an inconvenience, and every single time something happens, you will always get the shorter end of the stick because that's not your home. And that was my life. As a child, I was taught to only exist and never be heard. I was a very inquisitive child growing up, but I was never encouraged to ask because any single time I'd ask, I was doing too much. What was actually encouraged growing up for me was like, like calm down, don't do too much, don't ask questions, don't do this, don't do that. Once I got to like 9 years old, I was so fed up with the situation at home that I literally begged my mom to take me to boarding school. And believe it or not, boarding school actually saved me because the school that I went to in primary school actually taught me to harness, go into myself and to start believing in myself. I was really shy. I was a 9-year-old girl and I didn't really come from money. I mean, we weren't poor, but like I went to a school where for the first time, everyone around me was just so much richer than we were. And that started like, it put me in a situation where I started to question myself because I started to feel like, oh my God, I don't think I'm enough. I don't think I'm this, I don't think I'm that. Because I was very inquisitive, but my inquisivity, is that a word? I don't know. My ability to ask questions was really dimmed down. I was discouraged from asking. I trained myself to just sit in the corner, not really do too much, follow instructions. I didn't want to ruffle feathers, blah, blah, blah. When I got to 10 years old, I became the class prefect. In the beginning, it was really hard. Of course, I wanted to be liked by everyone. I mean, I'm a child. I was 10 years old. But now I was put in a situation where I was literally being forced to have my own opinions and to stand by them and to influence others to have opinions that I have. That's what it takes to be a leader. Essentially, the way you found yourself in this loop of being a people pleaser, knowing that you're supposed to do something about it, but then every single time you try to do something, it feels so unnatural that your body sometimes can even shut down. The thought of setting a boundary and sticking to it literally feels suffocating. And whenever you go back to your people pleasing tendencies, it just feels right. During your formative years, which I think is between age 1 to 7, your conscious mind, your analytical mind had not developed enough for you to be able to analyze what is true and what is not. So if you tell a 5-year-old that your brother is better than you, or why can't you do this like your brother? Why are other people doing better than you? What's wrong with you? Why are you so untidy? Their mind has not developed enough for them to know that, oh yeah, mom is just saying that because she's in a bad mood or she's had a long day at work. They don't know that. So if you've told them that your brother is better than you, guess what they're going to believe? They're going to believe that, yeah, indeed their brother is better than them. And that actually goes straight into their subconscious mind. The fact that I am holding this book, I'm conscious of the fact that I'm holding the book and I know that I'm doing it. If I start to read, I am conscious of the fact that I'm reading. However, once the camera is off and I move on with my life, I go back to operating on autopilot. Most of the times when we're doing things, we are doing things subconsciously and unconsciously. You have to get to a point where you start tapping into your subconscious mind for you to understand the beliefs that you've been telling yourself and the things that are causing you to constantly seek validation outside of yourself. For example, if as a child your parents always made all the decisions for you and you weren't allowed to experiment and make decisions for yourself, you've probably grown up feeling very insecure in your own abilities and you feel the need to ask for help a bit too soon or too quickly because you don't internally believe that you can finish something or you can do it well. And because of that belief in yourself is embedded in you subconsciously. The only way for you to stop seeking validation outside of yourself is for you to become conscious of those subconscious thoughts. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors make up your personality. We have already established that the law of attraction is true and alive, and it affects every one of us whether you want to believe it or not. Whatever your reality is at the moment is a reflection of who you are within you. It's a reflection of your beliefs. So whatever it is that you intrinsically believe, your life is the evidence of your internal dialogue. For example, one of the things that I am reaffirming myself is I am a successful content creator. And for a long time, I didn't intrinsically believe that because I was waiting for the money and the opportunities to actually prove to me that I am indeed a successful content creator. But what I have understood now is I have to become a successful content creator first, and then the world is going to follow suit. I'm no longer waiting for the opportunities and for the money and for the views and all these things to prove to me that I am indeed a successful content creator. I believe that I am. I believe that I'm changing the dialogue that's going on within me. I have value to offer, and I'm teaching myself that is enough. The fact that I believe I have value to offer, I don't need anyone else's validation. Of course, validation is good. Validation is important because at the end of the day, we are human beings, and because of our own limitations, validation outside of yourself is always nice to have. It definitely feels very good to be validated. And the truth is, validation is very addictive. If the only reason why you feel you're beautiful is because other people have always told you that you are, is because you keep getting complimented every single time, what happens when those people who compliment you stop complimenting you? Does that mean that now you're not pretty enough? You attaching your validation onto other people is very fleeting because their opinion can change. For example, my last video did very well, but does that mean that if I was to upload a video that doesn't perform well, that then I'm not a good content creator? No, it doesn't. For that video to have reached people is because of the algorithm, and I'm not really in control of that. That doesn't mean that every other video that I have created before that wasn't good. No, all the videos I have created have been created by me. Your brain does not understand language. The language of your brain is not language. Right now, if I tell you sit down, you know what that means. If I tell you listen, you know what that means. If I tell you stop fidgeting, you know what that means. Your brain does not understand language, as it's like it doesn't understand like English, Swahili, or whatever. Your brain doesn't get it when you say stop being anxious. If I tell you right now, stop thinking about a carrot, you're gonna start thinking about a carrot. Your brain only understands behavior. If something traumatic happened to you, your mind took a snapshot of whatever that was and what it caused you to feel. For example, at one point you peed on yourself in front of the class and you got so embarrassed and so ashamed that your brain took a snapshot of that moment and you remember it for the rest of your life. And so your brain taught your body, whenever she's in public situations, get anxious, we need to protect her because this happened, she got so embarrassed in public, we have to protect her. And so your brain tells your body to do something to protect you from the feeling that you had at that particular point. Because you've had years of your brain giving instructions to your body, now your body is what is running the show. And so your body actually has become the subconscious mind. And so whenever you try to stop doing the thing that you've conditioned yourself to do again and again and again, your body is like, okay, hold on. We are normally judgmental. Why are we not gossiping anymore? So we're just gonna stop gossiping? Like, just like that? And it's going to start telling you in a very subtle way, like, just go back. That is why every single time you set goals, like in January, there's always a little voice at the back of your mind that's telling you, you know damn well you're not going to achieve those goals. And it always happens. Your brain doesn't know that what you're doing is wrong. Your brain doesn't know that anxiety is wrong. It doesn't know that. It just knows this causes her to react this way. And then what actually happens is you keep reliving that event in your brain, because like you keep revisiting all those unfortunate events, and what you're actually doing is reinfecting your body again and again and again and again and again. You're essentially affirming those things. And that is why now, after years and years of conditioning, it is very hard for you to tap out of that behavior. You just can't do it with like, oh, a few steps here and there, blah, blah, blah. It's really, really difficult because it's so embedded and ingrained in you. It feels like it's who you are. It feels like it's part of you. What your personality essentially is just your thoughts, beliefs, and your behavior. Your personality can be changed. For you to become the kind of person that doesn't seek validation, you have to become a secure person. You have to become secure in yourself. You cannot be secure in yourself by remaining the same person who is still insecure in themselves. That's why you have to change your entire personality. You have to change your entire being. There's no shortcut to this. You have to change those things. And the way to do that is changing your self-concept. Whatever beliefs you intrinsically have of yourself. A belief is just a thought that has been thought a lot of times. Just because you believe something does not mean that it's true. A belief was initially just a thought. It was just a thought at one point. And then you thought about it again and again and again and again. And because your attention was on that thought, wherever your attention goes, energy flows. So that thought grew. It gave you an opinion of yourself. and of the world, that was reflected back to you again because of the mirror principle and the law of attraction. The frequency that you need to be operating on for you to find a solution is very different from the frequency that you're on when you're focusing on the problem. For you to find a solution, you have to completely shift your focus into becoming the solution, embodying the solution, not finding it, because finding it insinuates that the solution is outside of yourself. For you to fix your self-concept, your thoughts, your feelings, and your behavior have to change. You have to do your shadow work. When you jump straight into doing affirmations and meditating and stuff like that, it feels very unnatural because you don't even understand what limiting beliefs you have. Some of these beliefs are so deeply embedded in our subconscious mind that you don't even know that you think like that, but you do. Do your shadow work and identify where all those insecurities and all those limiting beliefs are stemming from. If there's any part of you that is identifying with a shadow work question, get to the bottom of it. Keep asking yourself why and why and why and why and why until you get to the core of the reason why you feel the way you feel. And so now when you proceed to do affirmations and journaling and meditations and things like that, at least whenever you start to feel the discomfort, you understand where it's coming from. And whenever you're doing your shadow work, do it without judgment. I want you to think about your 5-year-old self. Visualize her. Think about her, see her, the way she was so scared, the way she felt so bad about herself and so low, the way she was so embarrassed about what happened or she felt so much shame. I want you to see your 5-year-old self and feel compassion for her. See her for who she is. She's just a child. She's just a child who came into a world and she didn't really know anything. And now she's been shamed for something that she didn't even know was shameful. Think about that girl. Think about how insecure and low she felt of herself and feel compassion and just accept her. The only thing your shadow self wants is to be accepted. She just wants to be part of you. We love to focus on the things about ourselves that we like. That's why our ego controls everything. So when you're doing your shadow work and you're asking yourself all these shadow questions, give yourself all the compassion. Understand that it was not your fault. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, of course, just because something wasn't your fault does not mean that it's not your responsibility to fix it. Most likely someone else was the cause of that limiting belief, but now it's affecting you, and so it's your responsibility to fix that. Cut your parents some slack. Parenting does not come with a manual. There's no one who became a parent doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Whatever insecurities your parents had, the way they were brought up, whatever experiences they had, those things don't suddenly change and start making sense whenever they become parents. They're still the same people. Next thing, affirmations, visualizations, meditation, all those things, whatever works for you. I personally do a combination of affirmations, journaling, and meditation. I listen to Joe Dispenza's meditations. I actually bought them from his website. You can get guided meditations on YouTube for you to start from somewhere. You can start meditating like 10 minutes a day or something like that. But the best time for you to meditate is early in the morning or just before you go to sleep, because for you to get into a meditative state, brain waves have to be alpha, I think. You creating a new self-concept is you literally rewiring your brain. I meditate through visualizing the best version of myself. So for example, we're working on you not being a people pleaser. Visualizing could look like seeing yourself standing your ground, living the kind of life that you want to live, making the decisions that you want to make, going for the career that you wanted to go for and excelling at it, or whatever goals you have that are so intrinsic to you and you know that is who you truly are within you. Visualize yourself already achieving those things. Feel the emotions like it's already happened. Allow yourself to feel what you would feel if you actually achieved those things. So for example, for me, when I sit down and I'm visualizing myself holding the silver plaque, I always see myself finally, like, you know, doing a video about it. Oh my god, guys, yeah, hey, it is blah blah, and then I'm crying or whatever. And every single time I see myself do that in my vision, it feels so real in my visualization that I physically start crying in gratitude. I become so grateful as I'm doing my meditation, because I'm like, oh my god, universe, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I finally have it. I finally have it. Thank you. Thank you so much for this. By the time you get up from that meditation, you should not get up the same person. You should wake up as the person who has already received those things. So the self-concept that you want to create, see that in your visions every single day and feel the feelings and thank the universe, thank God that it's already happened, that it's already here with you. You are already that person who validates themselves. You don't seek validation outside of yourself. So if in your visualization you're seeing yourself as the highest version of yourself, you validate yourself, you know you're enough, you know all these things, stay in that feeling, the way you felt as the person who's enough, the person who's secure. I want you to get up from that meditation as that person and be so grateful to the universe that it's already done, because it is already done. And throughout the day, I want you to stay conscious of your thoughts. Whenever you start feeling yourself slipping back into your old habits, slipping back into your people pleasing, I want you to reaffirm and reaffirm and reaffirm. And guys, this in the beginning is going to be very uncomfortable. Just gonna be honest with you guys, it's going to be very uncomfortable. It's going to feel very unnatural as you're doing this, because we're talking about years and years of conditioning. Once you're past the age of 35, that conditioning now becomes hardwired in your brain. And so the longer you have been living in a certain state, of course, the more uncomfortable it's going to be for you to uncover those things and for you to unlearn and relearn and whatever. But you have to stay committed to it. But the only way for you to know when you're slipping back into your old habits is for you to stay conscious. Don't slip back into you doing things on autopilot. Remember to stay conscious. Remember to stay conscious of what you're thinking, whatever you're thinking and feeling. Okay, quick pause for me to actually clarify this. So I know that I said that your personality is made up of your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors. So we have already tackled your thoughts and your feelings by you doing your shadow work and getting to your core, meditating, journaling, doing whatever is going to work for you, affirmations. So that is you doing the groundwork, essentially. What follows is the action. However, most of the time when people just jump into the action, they jump into, okay, just force yourself to have boundaries and do all these things. It feels very unnatural because you haven't gone back to the core of yourself. So the action part is still relevant. However, it's different. It's not relevant action. It's inspired action. And the inspired action is going to come from you doing the groundwork, you sorting out the way you think and the way you feel. And that is going to inspire you to act in the way that matches the self-concept that you're trying to have. It's still very important, but you have to first do the groundwork. You have to first sort out your feelings and your emotions by doing your self-concept, visualizing and seeing that, doing the groundwork to know where your limitations come from. And then you grounding yourself like that is going to lead to inspired action. So now, whenever you set a boundary, you can reaffirm that you are worthy of having that boundary, if that makes sense. Do not internalize their struggle. That's their struggle, let it go. Your life sucks because you keep giving your power to other people. You have to take that power back to yourself. And if it means you looking rude or you looking like you think you are all that, then so be it. Because girl, you are all that. You being a people pleaser means that validate everyone else's emotions but yourself. And that is why you keep neglecting your own needs, because you're so focused on feeling everyone else's emotions. But what about yours? Who's taking care of your emotions? What's gonna happen is you are going to become resentful because no one is showing up for you. Who is showing up for you? Who is taking care of you? Who's paying attention to what you feel and what you want? Who's giving you the attention? What's the worst that can happen if you just believe that you deserve good things and good things are coming your way and keep reaffirming that? What's the worst that can happen actually if you just believe that? The only person that's standing in your way is you. Your beliefs, and as we have established, beliefs are just thoughts that you've thought a lot of times, okay? And so you can stop thinking them a lot of times until they become dormant and you don't really remember them anymore. Now you know better, and so you have a responsibility to do something with the knowledge that you've learned today. I love you so much, and I'm so proud of you for the amount of work that you've been putting into becoming the best version of yourself. I want to see you prosper. I want to see you live the life of your dreams, and you deserve it. And I'm going to be here when it happens for you, because it's going to happen. There's no point of you judging yourself. There's no point of you focusing on how much of a people pleaser you are and how much you need to change. No, just focus on becoming different. That's it. The judgment and all those negative emotions, they're just keeping you stuck, and they're reaffirming that you're not worthy. I know that you are worthy, and I love you so much.